All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 2:30. Opening ceremonies and moments of reflection led by Trustee Pearson.
Sure, please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. Rosie.
Trustee Wigan.
Here.
Trustee Ursulou. Trustee Murphy.
Here.
Trustee Pearson.
Here.
Trustee Anderson.
Here.
Trustee Crane.
Here.
Dr. Smith.
Here.
Okay, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Trustee Pearson, seconded by Trustee, I'm going to say Murphy. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wigan.
Yes.
Trustee Ursulou. Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Pearson.
Yes.
Trustee Anderson.
Yes.
Trustee Crane.
Yes. Okay, motion carries 5-0. Community input on special agenda items only. Do we have any comment cards?
None.
Okay, seeing none, let's move into the discussion action, and we will do that at 2:32. 6A, ratify lease-back agreement between Swinnerton Builders and Newport-Mesa Unified School District for various projects in the Costa Mesa and Estancia High School zones. Approve Amendment 1 with the final guaranteed maximum price. Mr. Trader.
So what you have before you this afternoon is the approval of the final guaranteed maximum price for these projects that we'll be doing over the summer. We're doing, touching all of our MPRs with fan and audiovisual upgrades, installing new playgrounds and restroom renovations, some new restrooms too, to accommodate our TK population. And so it is it's a lot to do over the summer. And in order for us to start work, we need to have the board approve the guaranteed maximum price. In determining the guaranteed maximum price, we have a cost estimator who goes in, looks at all the components, cost components for a project like this. And for example, the labor, the GC markups, general contractor markups, those kinds of things. And then we come up with an estimate. And we want to make sure that that estimate is comparable to what would be out there in the marketplace. And so we're presenting to you the final guaranteed maximum price that includes estimates that we believe are representative of what we would be able to get in the market at this time. And part of our reasoning for doing such an expansive project over the summer is that we're experiencing still a lot of inflation on the construction side. So when the California Department of General Services actually does an index for construction inflation, and as of May, if you do a year-to-year take, and as of May, it's 5.58% on the construction index side. So it made sense for us to do a lot of work this summer to try to reduce the cost in the future. And a 5.58% increase in inflation actually equates to an entire school that we could do with play, shade, and restroom renovations comparable to Whittier. So we're hopeful that by, putting all this effort in during this one summer, and it is, candidly, it's not something we would choose to do if there wasn't a benefit to doing it, because obviously, it's worrisome, because you want to make sure these projects all get done before school starts the next year. And so, but we do feel like, man, if we could squeeze out one more school, right, for about $4.5 million, $5 million, it makes it worth the effort to do that. So anyways, we have before you an approval of the final guaranteed maximum price.
Thank you. Do I have questions from the board? Trustee Murphy.
Jeff, I certainly understand why we're going to do this. Absolutely. Makes perfect sense. And so this isn't necessarily related specifically to the agenda items, but what do you think our chances are of really getting this all done before school starts?
We are doing everything we can. Dr. Smith has been pretty clear that we will have it done. And so what we've done is we've created a collective, and this includes our construction management folks, our contractors, our cost estimator, and our staff. And we said, look, we've got to make sure we get things done before school starts. And so we've actually entered into agreements to start work early. And so we want to start work early, and that's why there's kind of some urgency to get this guaranteed maximum price approved so we can start work. So we want to do as much work on the front end so we relieve pressure on the back end. And we've done a lot of work with the collective in terms of how this work's going to get done. We've ordered things in advance where we can. And so we're pretty certain that we can, that's not a really good term. We have done everything we can to put the advantage of getting this done before school starts. We do know that we do have some lighting issues for the multipurpose rooms where we might have some, they're called light bars, and we do recognize that there may be a delay in those, but those should be here, I'm told, by October. But it's just a simple light bar. That's the only concern that, in terms of equipment, that that people have shared with me. So we're good.
Thanks, Jeff, because that's probably the biggest question I've been getting from the community is whether this can really happen in time, given that we've all had some experience with some contractor at some point in our lives. So, so you think lighting might be the only detriment to being completely finished by
That's the
start of
known at this time.
Do you have any ideas about what the unknown might be? Because I just keep thinking about how old our buildings are and what we might come across, what we might run into.
So we've done a lot of pre-work. We've already done all of the remediation ahead of time. So things for like asbestos, those kinds of things that we would normally do. So all of that has been taken care of already. So those buildings are really ready to go. I would expect, of course, never say never, but we've done everything we can to eliminate all of the surprises.
Thank you. I bet you and your team have. And then my last question would be, so say we don't get it done by the start of school. Do we have a plan for how that could be handled and how we might, take care of that?
So, and I'll let the Ed Services side talk a little bit about that, but I'm told that NPRs we could get along if an NPR wasn't ready to roll. If an NPR wasn't ready to roll by the time school started, we could figure out and have plans to take care of, to mitigate any kind of disruption there with that. We are concerned about Anderson. Anderson has to be ready to roll in that regard, and there are some contingency plans in the event that Anderson isn't ready to roll by the time school starts. And so Dr. Smith, again, has been very clear about you will have a contingency plan in the event that we aren't ready to roll with Anderson. And so we have come up with a plan for that. I don't know if there's anything you want to add.
Can you share that plan, the Anderson plan?
We could share that.
Should we do it under 28? Or since this is
Do you have anything
we're
to
talking
say
about
right
the
now,
Costa
just
Mesa
quickly
zone?
about it? Maybe you have a comment quickly about the contingency plan?
I mean, we'd have to relocate classrooms at other sites. That's the plan.
Yeah. Okay.
We have portables there, so we're able to house very strategically, like the younger students, something like that, where we don't want to have them displaced, come back to a new school, acclimate at the new school. We've got space, let's say, at a school in the zone like Lincoln, where we could accommodate transportation to accommodate, again, so we start day one, and then as soon as it's ready, we open. But that's just a contingency. As of right now, with this meeting today, we're good to go for Anderson. But just in case we're not, that's one way that we could accommodate it.
And I guess my last sort of question at large would be, what's our communication plan with all of the parents and families and folks in the neighborhood?
Yeah, we started to do that already with the little, they're not 3x5 cards, but they're little cards, color cards. We'll be doing that throughout, giving them updates. Here's where we are, ready to start, etc. And we're hopeful the Parent Square is one of those advantages that helps us get to more of the families so that they know. But that'll be a big part of it, and we've already started to send out that first round of the.
Yeah, Annette Franco has created flyers for all of our principals. They're very nice looking, and so the principals have them, and they're ready to, at their discretion, to disseminate to the community.
Well, I think this summer, bittersweetly, we also learned kind of what we can do and when things aren't done on time. So because it's the MPRs, we can function, say for Anderson, and we really don't want to talk about a contingency plan because that, would mean a lot of things. But the MPRs, worst case scenario, there are ways to serve students. The kitchens aren't down. We can get food to students, and there are places to eat. It is summertime. There are places outside that are shaded. Like, we can figure that out. And we found multiple things for students to do during recess that weren't the equipment. We fortunately have lots of space, and we can corner off areas if we have to. Again, that's should not happen this year, but if that were to happen, we do know we can get through that without an issue. The movement of teachers from one classroom to another and one site to another, that's pretty routine. Anderson is, of course, a completely different issue.
Trustee Crane?
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Well, I said that was my last question, though. I have more, but it's okay.
Well,
We'll get you back in.
we can do a
rotation.
second round.
Yeah, Trustee Crane.
Well, first, thank you, Dr. Smith and staff, for pulling the items from the last meeting, because I do think that the trustees had a lot of questions, and I'm happy that you slowed it down for us a little bit so we can digest it and also understand what we're into. So I appreciate you doing that, although we are spending, extra time here, but it's okay because that's what we do. Trustee Murphy, you covered a lot of my questions about contingencies and what could go wrong if it did and all that. And my biggest thing is just making sure also that process is respected as to, ratifying versus approving. I think this says a lot. I very much care about the fact that we need to approve something versus ratify it, but I understand you're doing that because of the fact that we need to move quickly because of the summer deadline and wanting to launch fall as smoothly as possible. So, couple of questions. Is there a contract language in these in the GMP that allows for if a contractor does not meet the deadlines and things like that? Yeah, and the price points. I mean, I know that it's a maximum price, but is there language in the contract that is more of an incentive for them to get the work done as quickly as possible, since it's at least leaseback and they have control?
So there are provisions in the contract for things that might be out of the contractor's control that would
Supply chain would be one of them,
supply
kind of thing?
chain or those kinds of things where we're giving the contractor would be given some grace there, but the contract calls for a very specific time to be done, and so I believe it's August 6th is when that's all in the contract. They're supposed to be done by August 6th. That is the agreement, and that's there's very little provisions for them to in the contract to not make that deadline. Other than things that aren't in their control.
Okay. And then the other thing is, Trustee Murphy hit on, is the fact that we definitely need to inform our community, our parent community, of the scope of our construction, because it's affecting 26 schools out of 33. That's a lot. That's a lot. So, Ms. Franco, please make sure, and not just. Oh. I do hope that Dr. Smith gets staff to make sure that they do reach out to the community, not just once, but a couple of times, and then especially maybe an update, maybe late July, first week of August, of how things are going. And then I think that the big thing would be Anderson, because that's probably where learning will be most affected. So I do appreciate you all keeping that on your radar and making sure that we are specifically making sure that the classrooms will not, is the least disrupted at Anderson, if we can make sure that that stays on track. Thank you.
Trustee Anderson?
Thank you. I am glad as well that we are able to bring this back and discuss it more. I had a specific question about A. It looked like at the bottom, one of the other things that might be delayed is the Costa Mesa High School tennis court. Will that impact the girls and boys teams? Will it impact only one? Is there any way we could push that forward? Is there something else that's a time constraint for that?
So I'm sorry, the question is the deadline for that, so it's January when it would be completed?
Yeah, it's the only, out of A, B, and C on A, it says
Yeah.
the Costa Mesa High School tennis court could be completed by January 1st.
Correct. That's the timeline that the contractor believes that they could have that done by. I don't know. There's two things that's going on there at Costa Mesa, the tennis courts and then the netting. And the contractor has given us a date that he would have that done by, or we have not had discussions about pushing forward an earlier date on that.
Okay. Would that be something that we could possibly, Dr. Smith or Dr. Torres, consider having a conversation? It's not impacted, like on the main structure, but I think particularly if it's a whole season of girls tennis, I would not, if we can change that, that would be great. If we haven't had that conversation yet.
I don't think we've had the conversation regarding moving up the construction timeline. I know that we have conversations centered around being able to provide the teams with courts to be able to play on. And they've already relocated on several occasions because they're in poor condition, as you may know. So the team is looking forward to having the new courts, and we would find alternative locations for them to play so that they can stay competitive. But we have not had conversations right now to move up the timeline.
And then I just wanted to confirm, so is the August 6th date, that's the deadline for all of the zones, for all the projects, or is that only for item A?
That's correct.
For all?
For all the zones.
Okay. And then I know we hired the construction management firms to help with the deadline checking and all of that. Sometimes in working with, a lot of cooks in the kitchen, things can get more confusing. And so I just would ask that we would be able to get updates, maybe in our Friday update, or just much more routinely than we do typically for construction projects, so we can make sure that all of those things are flowing and are happening at the rate they should be. And even something like the light bars, if we know those are late, that could be something we could perhaps figure out locally. I think I'm excited we're doing all of this. I think it's so much more cost effective. And so I'm glad that we are leaning into this and working on communicating our plans out well. Thank you.
One of the things we've added to your point is we're going to have twice a month meetings with the Pinner Group because they're overseeing all of those. So our exec cabinet will meet every other week with them to get an update, also to hold their feet to the fire a little bit. And we can then turn that update into a trustee update. So every other week, we can give you an update on where we are, what we're expecting, what we see happening, et cetera. So putting things into place this summer that we hadn't even thought about last summer, but we had to because we saw what happened. And so that's one of the things, and it'll help us give more timely updates to all of you.
Thank you so much.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes, Dr. Smith has done a very good job communicating with me about Anderson and trying to get everything on schedule. If this is a go today, are we still scheduled to get those trash bins on the 23rd after open house and start the project? Or we're still a go for the 23rd?
So, so we're talking about the trash bins or the moving bins?
Well, both. I didn't know.
Yeah. So yeah, no.
Yeah, all bins.
So yes, that's all scheduled. We're set to go with that and be on time. We've also provided significant help in terms of moving assistance to the staff there. And so yes, we're confident that they're going to have plenty of assistance and time to be able to pack up and get their stuff out.
Which is so, so kind. I actually read Dr. Smith's text to me about how much you were going to help with the teachers and the bins. And I was with a bunch of LA Unified School District teachers, and they could not believe what they were seeing. So thank you. Thanks for doing that.
I have a question if no one else has another question. So I noticed in our meeting here, last meeting we actually pulled another contract with Element. I just wanted to see, I didn't see it on this contract. I wanted to understand why, for those watching or evaluating this, why we don't have Element, and then also how you believe we can complete this construction work without a fourth contract.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the last part of that question?
And how you believe we can complete this this work without Element as one of our contractors?
Yeah, so we expect to bring Element to you at a next board meeting. We just need to dot our I's and cross our T's on that one. The procurement is a really important issue in the world of construction, and so it can get a little wonky in terms of making sure that we've done everything we need to in order to make sure that that we have procured that appropriately. And so we just need to do a little bit of work there to make that happen, and we'll bring that to the board at a future meeting. We expect that we're going to need that support, but we can get along without it here for the next couple of weeks still and not have an issue.
Okay, great. Thank you for answering that. Any other questions we have up here? Yes, go ahead.
So I guess, Jeff, what I was asked a couple times was about our big, audacious construction project. Do we have like a name for this endeavor that, people can kind of understand, or I was asked, it was called a couple different things. Well, people were asking me about it. So, yeah.
I don't know if we have a nickname for it. I'd just say, let's get it done.
Okay.
Let's get it done.
Sounds like a good plan.
That works for me.
Deferred maintenance mother project.
Yes, I did bring that up quite a few times with a few people that we were addressing deferred maintenance issues. So.
And we appreciate the board's support in that regard. You recall a couple budget study sessions ago, the board did say, hey, this is important. We have to maintain our facilities. And so we are doing that. And the board's been very supportive of that. And there is a lot of deferred maintenance that's happening along with this. In addition to what you have before you, there's a whole lot going on the other side too, where we're doing a lot of maintenance work.
I just want to make sure that for all those people watching, Julie at least, that you're really, as a group of trustees, getting the credit you deserve. You prioritize as part of our 3-year strategic goals, the facilities master plan, which we did. And then you said, now let's get the projects done, right? We've had some folks interviewing recently. Don't get me started on that one. But we've had some folks in-house that have some construction backgrounds. And two of the comments that struck me, one was, the schools look good in low light. And another one was, the schools look really good at 45 miles an hour, right? Which is to say, your concern over our schools and their repair is right on the money. And we need to address those things. And this is an audacious attempt for sure. The Summer Collective is what we've just called getting everyone together to be on the same page. But haven't named the projects. Maybe we'll go with audacious. That's good. But again, really, this is your vision for making sure that our facilities are the types of facilities our students need and deserve. These are old buildings. And so thank you for the courage to do that. And we take it very, very seriously. And we've told our folks in these collective meetings, this is bad for superintendents if it doesn't get done. It's worse for you. Because we'll probably need to hire people again lots of times. Your ability to finish this on time, on budget, will be one of those determining factors, right? And so to a person, they've said, we got this. We want to work with you. And they do.
Well, great. I think one of our goals too is to be good, stewards of the community and communicate effectively. And I think this is that, to make our schools look good in the community, but also provide the facilities for our students that they deserve. So, do I have any other questions up here before I call for the vote? All right, Rosie, roll call vote.
For
Oh,
26.
I need a motion. Do I have a motion?
So moved. For 26, right? I mean, for a 6A.
For 6A.
Are we comfortable clumping them all together? Because it sounds like we had the discussion for all of them. Can I make a motion to just approve 6A, B, and C?
Yes.
Are we
Do I have a
comfortable,
second?
trustees? Okay, I move that we approve 6A, B, and C as stated.
I second.
All right. Moved by trustee Crane, seconded by trustee Murphy. Roll call vote.
Trustee Weigand,
Yes.
Trustee Ursulou,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Pearson,
Yes.
Trustee Anderson,
Yes.
Trustee Crane.
Yes.
All right. Motion carries 6-0, and we have approved 6A through 6C. All right. With that being said, there's no other comments. I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 2:58. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.